That 70s show, alum Danny Masterson faces 30-year prison sentence for 2 rapes. Los Angeles. That 70s show star Danny Masterson could get as much as 30 years to life in prison at his sentencing Thursday for the rapes of 2 women 2 decades ago. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than La Superior Court Judge Charlaine F. Olmedo is set to sentence the 47-year-old actor after ruling on a defense motion for a new trial that she's very likely to reject, and after hearing impact statements from the victims. A jury of 7 women and 5 men found Masterson guilty of 2 counts on May 31 after 7 days of deliberations. Both attacks took place in Masterson's Hollywood area home in 2003, when he was at the height of his fame on the Fox sitcom That 70s Show. The jury could not reach a unanimous verdict on a 3rd count, an allegation that Masterson also raped a longtime girlfriend. The verdict came in a second trial after a jury failed to reach verdicts on 3 counts of forcible rape in December and a mistrial was declared. Prosecutors alleged that Masterson used his prominence in the Church of Scientology, where all 3 women were also members at the time, to avoid consequences for decades after the attacks. The women blamed the church for their hesitancy in going to police about Masterson. They testified that when they reported him to Scientology officials, they were told they were not raped, were put through ethics programs themselves, and were warned against going to law enforcement to report a member of such high standing. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than. They were raped, they were punished for it, and they were retaliated against, Deputy District Attorney Reinhold Mueller told jurors at the trial. Scientology told them there's no justice for them. Testimony at a preliminary hearing last year to determine whether Masterson should go to trial included frequent use of Scientology jargon that lawyers had to ask the witnesses to explain. And the trial's witness list is full of members and former members of the church, which has a strong presence in Los Angeles and has counted many famous figures among its members. This is not going to become a trial on Scientology, Olmedo asserted at a pre-trial hearing. But she said she would allow its discussion as a reason why the women delayed reporting to authorities. Before the first accuser took the stand on October 19, the judge warned her not to stray too far into discussions of Scientology, but it still came up. The woman testified some of her mutual friends filed so-called knowledge reports, signaling their unhappiness with her after she told them about the initial incident with Masterson, and she was summoned by an ethics officer who forced her to make peace with him and take responsibility. Asks if she still feared retaliation from anyone for coming forward about Masterson, she replied, about half this courtroom. The church said in a statement after the verdict that the testimony and descriptions of Scientology beliefs during the trial were uniformly false. The church has no policy prohibiting or discouraging members from reporting criminal conduct of anyone, Scientologists or not, to law enforcement, the statement said. Danny Masterson, found guilty of 2 counts of rape in retrial, faces up to 30 years in prison. Author L. Ron Hubbard wrote Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health, in 1950, which became a foundational text for the Church of Scientology. The religion focuses on bettering one's spirit, not the mind or body, and believes that man is far more than a product of his environment, or his genes, according to its official website. Through processes called auditing and training, a Scientologist can gain better spiritual awareness outside of their body, the religion states. The religion has garnered many celebrity figures such as Tom Cruise, Leah Remini, Masterson, John Travolta and Kirstie Alley. Remini and Masterson's former That 70s Show co-star Laura Prepon are among the few famous people who have left the religion. King of Queens alum Remini was a member of the church for 35 years before leaving in 2013. 2 years later, she said in an interview that Cruise was one of the factors that led her to leave, because the actor is so tethered to the church, they view an attack on him as an attack on all of them. He is very aware of the abuses that go on in Scientology, Remini told the Daily Beast in 2018. He's been part of it. Masterson did not testify, and his lawyers called no witnesses. The defense argued that the acts were consensual, and attempted to discredit the women's stories by highlighting changes and inconsistencies over time, which they said showed signs of coordination between them. Time equals 400 Ms. Greater than the women whose testimony led to Masterson's conviction said that in 2003, he gave them drinks and that they became woozy or passed out before he violently raped them. Olmedo allowed prosecutors and accusers to say directly in the second trial that Masterson drugged the women, while only allowing the women to describe their condition in the first. Masterson was not charged with any counts of drugging, and there was no toxicology evidence to back up the assertion. Olmedo had ordered jurors to take Thanksgiving week off and keep deliberating after they said on November 18 that they could not reach a consensus. The jury began deliberations anew the following week after 2 alternates replaced jurors who had COVID-19. "I find the jurors hopelessly deadlocked," Olmedo declared after inquiring whether there was anything the court could do to move them closer to reaching a unanimous decision. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than jurors said they had voted 7 times over 2 days without being able to reach a consensus on any of the 3 counts. 2 of the alleged victims issued a statement saying they were disappointed. Masterson has evaded criminal accountability for his deplorable acts. However, we are collectively resolved to continue our fight for justice. Masterson starred with Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis and Topher Grace in That 70s Show, from 1998 until 2006. He had reunited with Kutcher on the 2016 Netflix comedy, The Ranch, but was written off the show when an LAPD investigation was revealed the following year. Though that investigation began before a wave of women shook Hollywood with stories about Harvey Weinstein in October 2017. The conviction and sentencing of Masterson still represents a major #MeToo era success for Los Angeles prosecutors, along with the conviction of Weinstein himself. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than I told him no. Ex-girlfriend of Danny Masterson recounts painful rape in testimony.